And Beckham saw Sullivan off his line. Oh!
This is a private member's bar.
That is absolutely phenomenal.
Exclusively for the supporters of the greatest football team in the world.
Cleared, Giggs with a shot. Sheringham!
Manchester United.
Beckham into Sheringham. And Solskjaer has won it!
Erik ten Hag is out. Omari Farson is in. Dan Ashworth wants a yes man. And my Golden Boot winner for the Euros might shock you, D. I'm Keith, he's D, and welcome back to another episode of the Big Ian Smalls podcast. How you doing, my friend? What's happening?
Not too much, man. Just glad to see Ineos actually made a decision for once, and we can actually put all this media debacle of if Ten Hag's in or out, and thankfully he's staying, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like ever since the FA Cup, I mean, it's just been nonstop media. You know, Ten Hag, what's he doing? Is he in? Is he out? So, and I was getting a little concerned. I think we all were. I was definitely getting concerned about how long it was taking. I understand, wanting to have the due diligence and all that, but I mean, I thought they came to the right decision, especially with the managers that were out there. And we can get into that in a little bit. But, I want to see him get a third year. I know we've both have gone back and forth on our opinions on, wanting him or whatever. But, I want to see a third year from him. And I even heard, I don't know if it was Neville or whatever, but it was like, it's really like a 5-year project that we're embarking on with him. Do you agree with that?
No, I do. I don't think Rome was built in a day. I'm not using that good old cliche, but at the end of the day, United don't want to, as a club, don't want to become the likes of like a Chelsea that just keeps rotating managers in and out. There's no structure that seems to be there. There's no continuity that seems to be there, and that was something that United, revered over when Ferguson was manager. Like he was very close to being out the door. Ferguson was, if it wasn't for the FA Cup victory back in the 1990s. So. I'm hoping now that they can actually, and I read as well that there's reports saying that the Ineos and Ten Hag are discussing a contract extension. No, I don't know if they're gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if they let the first 6 months of the season play out to see how it goes. I think they might table the extension and see how it goes. If they end up starting the season like they did last year, and with the doctor, and outs and the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of mindset where like they play well one match and then get absolutely murdered the next match. If they start off consistently and play well, and Ten Hag seems to have his tactics right, the team seems to be playing for him, I would say probably more than likely if United's in the top 4, really within a match or two of being in the top 3, even the top 2, possibly challenging by like October, November, I wouldn't be surprised if Ineos all of a sudden extended his contract for possibly 2 years and literally, like Gary Neville said, solidify that 5-year plan that they have in place to really steer United forward.
Yeah, exactly. Because basically ever since Fergie's left, it's basically been 2 years, sack the manager, 2 years, sack the manager. And I mean, I understand we've definitely have had some, managers that, deserve to be definitely sacked. But, you got to have some continuity too, because it's, you don't have a chance to actually develop, even like players coming up through the youth system or anything. So it's just, it's nice to see them come to the right conclusion. I thought it took a little bit longer than maybe it should have. As the more I was reading into it, and I was listening to before we signed, I guess he had a breaking pod. Fabrizio Romano, he was saying, according to him, the FA Cup final definitely was a major factor in the decision for him to keep him, and a big part of that was how the players responded and the way they showed up in that match. So I guess, me and you had talked about that, the decision should have been made prior to this, but I guess, I kind of, when I hear it like that, it does have some validity to it, and I did agree with it.
No, definitely. I think a lot of fans, you could if you take away all the media crap, which was honestly what it is, because there's just constant negativity behind the whole thing. Was if you listen to more of the fans and you read it, listen to more fans podcasts and this or that, a lot of it was back Ten Hag. I don't know if I've spoken to enough people. I don't even think I could count them on one hand that said he shouldn't be at the club. No, it does he make bad tactical decisions in times? Yes, he does. But at the same time, he's delivered two trophies now.
I mean, Fergie wasn't perfect,
No, nobody's perfect.
No.
And I'm not trying to compare United to any other club because they're incomparable. But one of the things that I think that a lot of people don't understand, especially the media, don't ever like to bring up, was that Arteta from Arsenal, his first year, he took over in I believe December. His first one was against United, and I think he beat United 2-0, and then he beat Man City, he beat Liverpool in the FA Cup, and then went on to win the FA Cup in his first season. And he became like the first player that won it as a captain for the same team and as a manager. But then the following season, after he won the Charity Shield against Liverpool.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the season, beat them in penalties, and everyone thought, okay, Arteta's going to take Arsenal, turn them around.
He
End up 8th in his actual full season. So everyone was like, wait a minute, like he's not. And it was the first time in like decades that they didn't play European football. I think it was like 26 years or something. The first time they didn't play European football or something. Like something was a really weird. So now look at what Arsenal now are where they're at because they still back their manager. So there's no reason why United, with Ineos Group being in there and with the infrastructure that they're trying to put in, and also with this, if they really do back the manager and support him in the right manner, there's no reason why United can't be challenging for the title in a few years' time. I'm expecting them to challenge next season. Absolutely not. I'm expecting. I would love another Ten Hag debut season of top 4. Maybe a cup final, maybe the League Cup, FA Cup. Make a good challenge in the Europa League now that they're in it. I would love to see just a team that you can see a philosophy being implemented and just watching good, attractive football, because the FA Cup first half final against Man City, it was great to watch. United, the second goal was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Liverpool match in the FA Cup was great. Never say die.
Now that you brought that up, I heard Clarence Seedorf talking about Mano today.
Yeah,
and
I've seen that too.
Did you see that quote today? I was like, damn, that's pretty high praise.
He said he reminds me a lot of me when I was around that age. But he goes, he's much better on the ball and he's much calmer on the ball, and he has a lot more. He's a lot more maturity on the ball than I did, and he goes, the sky's the limit for him. I did read that. I've seen that same quote. So, but exactly, like Ten Hag nurtured Manu. So, like I think that we talked about it earlier about that. So that's just one of the premises that I think behind Ten Hag.
You bring that up. That was a court in the same podcast with Fabrizio Romano. They were saying that was another contributing major factor in their decision. Is that look what he's done with Garnacho and Mano, and that's obviously what they're trying to accomplish,
Yeah, like United have definitely prided themselves on having academy players push through to the first team, and not only just push through. It's one thing to just push through and play a couple of minutes here and there when the match is almost over, or playing a League Cup match or early stage FA Cup, but to be consistent starters and perform at the level that they're performing, especially like Kobe Manu. Kobe Manu went from no one knowing his name to now possibly being a starter for England in the Euros. This time 2 years ago when the United won the League Cup and you seen Ten Hag put his arm around him, he wasn't playing in the match, he wasn't even in the squad, but he travelled with the team. You see Ten Hag wrapped his arm around him and was pretty much telling him, like, you just keep doing what you're doing.
Exactly. You'll be here.
You'll be here, and you'll be in the same pitch this time next season. We'll be lifting another trophy, and he did it. And then Garnacho was the same way. He rewarded Garnacho for his exploits for the under-18 team when they won the under-18 FA Cup, and he scored a couple of goals as well in that. So I think that the Ineos Group, I think they're seeing that. I listened to Craig Burley earlier. Like, I don't like that man. Jeez, I've never met him talking's like nails on a chalkboard. For a man that has such an opinion on football, you would swear he managed somewhere, or no, he actually he played at a high level. He did play in the Premiership. He played for Derby. He played for Celtic. He played for Chelsea, but. He wasn't like, he's not the kind of player you would turn around and like no one grows up and says, I want to be a Craig Burley. Nobody. Nobody does. But yet he has an opinion to turn around and think that United just they're like, made the worst decision to keep Ten Hag. But like, has this season been bad? Aye, but and he turned around and said that Ineos Group are supposed to be coming in and putting this new structure in place, but he feels like they didn't, and they're going backwards, and that they proved that Ten Hag isn't the man to bring him forward because how bad the season is, and they're going to have egg on the fist by late September and October because United's going to be all like if he has a crystal ball and he can tell the future, tell him that I would love to send him a message. Say, also give him the lotto numbers while you're at it.
Yeah,
Chris, because
seriously, I'll take one. Yeah, give it to me, especially when it's close to $1 billion.
Exactly. So like I don't understand how a man who's produced like is this we could talk about this until we're blue in the face. Every United fan knows we haven't had a good season, but the man delivered another trophy. It added on to the wall of champions total, and did he go through a really rough time with we talked about in the previous podcast the amount of things he had to deal with? Yes, but now that this Ineos group is going to actually put the right structure in place, let's see what he can do because he had that structure in place at Ajax. He had, and you've seen the success he had there. Let's see what he can do now. Honestly, there's no excuse for him now. There's
there's no excuse. I mean, it's it's time for him to produce, and we need to figure out what happened last year, put it in the rearview mirrors with the injuries and all the off the field stuff. Put it behind us, and we need to be. I agree with you. We need to be at least in the top four, and top four and one trophy.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and it's just like his debut season. But we talked with Samuel Luckhurst about it too, saying that this will be one of the more defining summers of Man United, especially under Ten Hag's tenure as well. So we'll definitely see if they they've put everything to bed in terms of he is the manager now. There's no more searching around. There's no more interviews going on. There's no who's going to be there. Is he going to go? Is he going to stay? It's done and dusted. He's staying. Now, okay, and let's implement now a solid transfer policy. They've already got rid of Martial, Varane's right out the door.
Yep.
I'm seeing rumors that Casemiro could be going to Saudi.
Yep.
I've read reports. I don't know how legit they are, but I've seen that the Ineos group have went ahead and put like price tags on every single player that you need to have on the team.
Yeah.
By Højlund, Garnacho, and
Onana.
Yeah, and I see that Bruno Fernandes down for between 70 and 80, same as Rashford. They went ahead and have Sancho listed for 40. They have I don't know about Greenwood. I don't know what's going on. I know they went ahead and triggered his option for an extension to 2026.
Yeah,
so
I heard what's his face, the Chosen Ones team, Fenerbahce. I heard they were interested in him.
I did read that. I think I seen the Fenerbahce were supposed to be going into after not only Greenwood but also McTominay.
Yeah,
well.
I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I heard that. Actually, I heard something like it was going to be like basically like a pair for I don't know 40, 50 20, or whatever it was. Or
I read 25, 30. I heard.
What I mean, I'll take whatever.
Yeah, so we'll see. But I do think when it comes to Ten Hag, I did like the fact that both Ten Hag and the club are supposedly in the right, they're in the right frame of mind. They're both aligned with what's going to happen going forward. So in terms of his contract extension, if the United do start well and they're playing good football and the players seem to be playing for him and there's nobody down in tools and there's no off-field problems,
yep.
I do believe that he'll probably get, I would say, a 2-year extension to get him that 5-year mark, and then see where we can go from there.
Yeah, I agree. You give him the 2-year extension, and even I was reading Neville. I thought he made a really good point to it because ultimately he agreed he did not want Ten Hag sacked. But he also made a very good point in saying that Ten Hag should not be, hold any personal injury or grudges or anything and say, look, man, you really underperformed last year. So, I mean, Ineos is kind of in the right to want to do an in-depth dive like they did. Maybe not waiting as long as they did, but, I mean, they were in the right to want to say, hey, what the hell happened last year,
Yeah. Well, for all we know too, because I know maybe it took this long because Ten Hag did say he was very open about it, saying that after the FA Cup he's going on holiday. Like
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, he might have just said, "Hey, look, I wanna go, I wanna go MIA for 10 days or 2 weeks,
yeah.
and we'll go from there." That could very well be it. We don't know.
No, we don't know. We just have the media speculating. So for all we know, Ten Hag and the Ineos group could have agreed, saying, "Listen, well done, congratulations on the FA Cup. Go enjoy some time with your family, unwind, refresh yourself, and then when you come back, we do need to sit down and be realistic about what our expectations are, about what your expectations are of us, and if we can be aligned for your tenure to continue at Man United. If not, no, we might have to make some hard decisions and make some personnel changes. But obviously, we all know now that discussion must have went well, because I did read that both Ten Hag and the Ineos group are very aligned. There is positive talks. They're both want to support one another. So that's going now. Nice to go. It's nice to go now to like be able to just relax and watch the Euros and.
Yeah, the Euros and the Copa America the following week, and I'm genuinely excited to see what, the 8 players, I believe it's 8 players that we have in the Euros, and oh god, I can't remember.
Does that include Tommy Heaton, because he just got called up?
I believe so. I think it's 8. Maybe it's 9. I can't remember.
Well, you also you have then Martinez playing for Argentina.
Yeah, in the Copa. Yeah, Martinez. And I know there's a few other ones. I'm drawing a blank on it right now. But yeah, again, now that this is in the rearview mirror, I'm generally excited just to watch the games and see. I mean, of course, I would love to see Italy win the whole thing. I don't know if they'll repeat or not. I'd be kind of surprised. That's not shocking. That's not a shocking thing. Yeah, I don't think that'll happen. But hey, you never know, man.
Yeah, but well, no, same here. But it is. I wonder how much of an influence. No, and I'm going just back to the whole Ineos thing and the decision making. I know we were just sort of speculating maybe it was because Ten Hag, but I wonder if any influence. To try to switch topics here, I wonder if Dan Ashworth had any influence on the Ineos group in terms of he's a big Southgate fan, so maybe did he have any influence on that, and maybe he was trying to get into Southgate's mind or talk to him and say, hey, maybe he had the Ineos group sort of hanging on the thread of saying, wait, let me talk to Southgate, because there was all those rumors Southgate was going to be the natural choice.
And I know me and you both feel the same way. I want nothing to do with him. I mean, honestly, the more I've read and heard from English fans, a lot of them don't even like him either. So it's I don't want him managing my team. Not a chance.
No, I'm gonna say I don't look at Southgate as being any improvement whatsoever on Ten Hag. So that's the only reason anybody should be changed from positions in terms of player, manager, whatever you want to do with the club. Is that if it's going to significantly improve the club, I don't think Southgate would.
No, not at all. And and like we've read earlier, is some of the stuff you've been hearing about Ashworth is saying, he basically wants a yes man in there, and that scares the hell out of me, because I want someone who's going to push back. And you kind of look at what Ashworth has done throughout his career as all right, man, what have you really done? All right, I mean, you've done a lot more than me and D, I guess, obviously, but I mean, we're Man United, man. We've got a history on how we play the game. Is I don't want you coming in here and you come here and you adopt our philosophy. I don't want you changing anything, dude.
No, exactly. And I'm sure a lot of people will probably be laughing at us saying this. I know United have a history. We do have a history of a certain philosophy and a certain way of playing football and a certain way of running the club. And obviously this past 10 years since Ferguson retired, it hasn't been the best. But at the same time, there's a reason why United are talked about so much. If they weren't, if it wasn't for the grandeur of this club and how successful it's been in the past, and I know we don't ever want to live in the past, but you're right, you're 100% right. Dan Ashworth, he went from was it Brighton to the FA.
Yep.
To the FA, and then I think that's when he became very close with Gareth Southgate. Maybe he was also the person, one of the catalysts behind Southgate getting promoted from the youth development regime there to being the England manager. I know he went to Newcastle. I think it's just very strange that it's still, that's another, dark cloud over United right now, is the fact that he's still on gardening leave, and there is supposedly arbitration going on between him getting
Yeah, I
severance from
mean,
Newcastle and all this kind of crap.
yeah, which is kind of a little bit concerning too. Just him, not being there, and what's it going to do to our transfer policy? I mean, I hope it doesn't damp or hinder anything because I mean we do have a lot of needs at the club, but I really hope that doesn't change anything at all. Like we need to be active now. As soon as as soon as it opens up, I mean we need to be ready to go, man. It opens Friday, I believe, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. I think no, United definitely need to do something. You have to do something in terms of making the right decisions for once in the transfer window. Like, and I say right decisions, I'm saying like, no, I don't want them going out there thinking a short term fix. I don't want them going out and splashing the cash on like a player that's in his like 30s, early 30s, and thinking he's 10. Like, I do think to this day, would Harry Kane, and this is the reason I'm saying this because like everyone was saying, oh, they should have signed Harry Kane. Harry Kane would. I don't know if Harry Kane would have made that much of a difference in this United club just because of how dire the season was. I don't know, because then.
We also had so many other issues. Like, yes, of course, do we need a world class striker? But I mean, God Almighty, I mean, we had fucking Bruno Fernandes playing center back and Casemiro. Like, what was Harry Kane gonna possibly do for us?
Exactly, and that's the thing, and that's another thing that like he could have become frustrated. He could have just got he could have down tools. I don't know. It's difficult to really really tell what would happen. But I do think that they need to follow that structure we talked about in previous podcasts of like the talking with the manager, find out what positions he wants, give them 3 options of who they believe will be a good fit. Consulting Jason Wilcox on that, and if Dan Ashford comes on board, if or when he comes on board, that consulting him and just getting everything sort of aligned with what they want to do. But they just throwing money around, like back to, and we've talked about before, like the Van Gaal tenure, like United just cash around, like, it was crazy. Like
it was like, hey, come here. Are you on the back end of your career? Sure, yeah, come on, we'll just pay you. Come on, let's go.
So this was a bit of a mix and match group. So yeah, we'll see what happens there.
I don't mind us spending money if it's the right play. Like I know we both agree. Like Bruno, I have no problem at all. Like I wanna pay him. Like give him the money, and I would actually like to see him at least finish out the last half of his career at United, or most of it or whatever. I would like to see that.
No, same here. I would love him just a bit, because right now he's in his prime, and I want to. Well, not only do I want United to reward him financially, but I do also want United to reward him professionally as well for his career. Like I want him to win some major trophies because he's been a great servant. He's put up some unbelievable numbers in terms of goals and assists since he's joined. And he's followed that through with Portugal. I think I seen a stat the other day, and in the last 6 or 7 matches, he scores something like 6 goals and 4 assists. Something crazy he came up with. Like my cousin Sean and I were talking about it. He sent it over, and he was like, he's just a machine. And for a man, there it is, right there. It says in his last 10 games for Portugal, he's had 10 goals and 6 assists. So,
yeah, I know, it's insane. And I guess now I can reveal my Golden Boot winner for the Euros. Surprise, surprise, D. Bruno, 40-1.
It's not a bad shout. It all depends on how Portugal's set up, though. That's
exactly. Because I wanted to go with someone different because I feel like everyone was going to choose Mbappe or somebody like that. So I wanted to go with somebody different.
Yeah, well, that's not a bad shout, and especially 41. You put a fiver on that, a tenner on that, and it comes up. You get 200, 400 pound in your pocket. But like speaking of Mbappe, and like we can sort of just switch gears now. We can talk about like the good old transfers.
Absolutely,
But when it comes to United, I think we already know who's on the way out. It's just a matter now of like solidifying that. But I didn't like the fact that the Forsen moved on. But from what I've read and from what I've heard, Ten Hag couldn't promise him first team football just because they were saying like, listen, he's not gonna dislodge Garnacho. He's
No.
not going to, and he's not going to dislodge Rashford if Rashford comes back playing the way we know Rashford can. So
Yeah.
that's two wingers, and then in the midfield, is he really going to dislodge Bruno? Is he going to dislodge Menu? Is he going to dislodge Casemiro or McTominay? I think
Yeah.
Ten Hag. The only thing I hope I need to look more into it. And that's my fault for not looking too much in it. But I want to read more. I'm hoping you maybe put a buyback clause on it because that would be.
Yeah, I should have, I should have done that too. Actually, I guess let's consult the Google right now, D.
Yeah. This is that was something that like United haven't done in the past, and like it really.
No, they definitely have it, but it would be nice.
They should put in like and if anything, I would call it the Pogba rule in terms of sound players. I mean,
Yeah.
Don't let them go to the point where you have to spend an obscene amount of money to bring them back to the club.
Let's see. He's gonna
Like,
join the
I'm sure
Italian club,
Monza.
Monza. It doesn't. I'm not seeing anything. Well, maybe we'll
Yeah.
have to. We'll have to
I
pull
didn't
that up at another time. I haven't seen anything about that.
Neither have
I
I.
would. I would like to see that. That would definitely be nice because I think he could potentially turn into something, and I would like to get some sort of compensation for him, especially since he left for nothing, basically.
Yeah, and like I know,
And he's an academy player, so it's like we invested all that money, time, and effort into him. It would have been nice to get something back from him.
Yeah, exactly. So he turned down a United contract, but I was hoping that maybe they had like a gentleman's agreement with Monza or with somebody else, and said like we would like to be able to have put a set price on a buyback clause if he ends up doing well. But at the same time, like I don't know if that's even a thing
Yeah.
in football.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that was the one man the young man I didn't want to see leave, but at the same time I can understand his reasons for it. Like it's like Pereira. I think Pereira would have played well.
Yeah. I mean, if
he went on to Fulham.
he was saying, you can't guarantee him. Honestly, if I was in his shoes, I probably would have done the same thing. I mean, I would have been like, hey, I want to be playing regularly every day and try and get to that next part of my career and all that. So yeah, I mean, I can't really fault him for that.
Nah, neither can I. So, and then I see we talked about it just a little bit ago, but like he's got, I think the news group went ahead. And I think it's now if those rumors are true that we read about Sancho coming out saying I'll come back if Ten Hag's not there.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I say bon voyage, buddy.
I think he's not going to be coming back anytime soon. So, but I think the news group went ahead and put 40 million on him. It's half the price almost what they paid for him.
Yeah,
a little bit more than half, but. I think it's probably best for all parties involved.
It's best for all parties involved, but I mean, if they want him, all the power to him. But like we talked about this on our previous pod, like what did he do for Dortmund to make them want him? Because it's not like he did a lot for them. He was non-existent in the Champions League final. I know he had a good game. I think it was the semi-final game, but like it's not like he was banging in goals all the whole season.
Nah, he was good in the first leg against PSG. He did really well against the PSG in the first leg, but then the second leg he went MIA again. But there was a quote that came out, and I'm trying to remember who it was that said it, and I think it was Kieran Dyer, the old Newcastle player. And he said that he remembers seeing Sancho at a younger age when he was around Man City's youth group, but he was part of the youth setup with England. And Kieran Dyer was doing some of his, he was involved as well. I don't know if he was doing his coaching badges or whatever, but he said one of the things he noticed was that for the first 25, 30 minutes, 40 minutes of the match, he was just tearing this team apart. But then all of a sudden, stuff started to stop going his way. He wasn't able to beat the defender started to suss him out. The defender started closing down quicker. He wasn't getting the space he wanted. And he said all of a sudden you could just see that his whole demeanor changed. Kieran Dyer came out and said it was the whole demeanor changed on Sancho. And then all of a sudden, it was like a year or two later, I hear he's leaving Man City. And I'm like, everyone was like, why? He's such a good talent.
Yeah.
But he goes, Pep could see it. Pep could see he wasn't a complete article.
He wasn't like you just said. The players figure him out, and he wasn't adapting or whatever. So
he seemed to almost like about a term with Kieran Dyer based on what he said. Now, granted, we can take what Kieran Dyer said with a pinch of salt and shout out Hannah Sullivan, but at the same time, no. I think that's you don't see those stories or hear those stories very often because it seems like for some reason the British media have Sancho as like their little darling, like he can do no
Yeah,
wrong.
I don't.
So
Yeah, I don't understand it. I mean, it is what it is. But it's like he's not. Uh, he's not living up to the bill. You
no.
know.
Well, like, and
Eh,
this goes back to what
Like
Ten Hag was talking about.
I think he has the potential. He's just he's got to get better.
Yeah, but like a lot of people say the same thing about Rashford's not young. Like you look at the likes of Garnacho and Manu here, and they're still in their teens and they're playing
Oh,
unbelievable.
I mean, in theory, they should have 20 plus years left of their career.
Yeah, and then Erling Haaland does the same thing. He's a young man as well, but like
Yeah.
there's so much expectation on him. But the whole situation with Sancho, the reason I brought that out was because for so long everyone sort of was like blaming Ten Hag for it. And Ten Hag supposedly called him out and said he wasn't working hard enough, and then that's what Ben McCarthy came out and did an interview and said the reason why he'll never apologize because he says there's one thing he can never accept is that someone calling him lazy. But Kieran Dyer, and if you go just look it up, anyone who look it up, Kieran Dyer came out and said that he pretty much down tools and he stopped tracking back and he stopped really looking for the ball and he sort of went missing and. It was that maybe that's part of his DNA that people don't really see.
Yeah.
And then maybe Dortmund have Dortmund do have their tactics set up to allow him. He doesn't have to track back and sprint back, So because they had like the Alexa Sabitzer, there was just a workhorse. But yeah, I think Sancho's on the way out. That's another one. Will he be loaned? Would Dortmund come back in for a loan? I don't know if I think United want rid of him because if he loans again for a season, his contract is 1 year left in his contract.
Yeah.
United would maybe get 40 million.
Ideally, I would love to just see him be completely removed of him and sell him. But if that wasn't the possibility, I wouldn't be opposed to loaning him out to Dortmund again because it didn't really seem like Dortmund has the money to like actually afford a full-on sale. So if there isn't another team that isn't willing to step up for him, I'm okay with loaning him out. Is it ideal? No, not really. But I mean, if I'm open to it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to quote anyone from Bayern Munich right now, but Bayern Munich have come out and criticized Dortmund on numerous occasions about the fact that they always seem to come out and say we can't afford players. Look up the prices they were selling players for. Like they sold Sancho to United for 70 plus million. And then they sold Lewandowski. They granted Lewandowski to Bayern, and they're for like no, but they've sold some. No, look at Dembele when he went to Barcelona.
Oh yeah, yep.
Like there was ridiculous money. So what are they doing with it? So Bayern Munich keeps saying like, don't believe this wolf in the sheep's clothing from Dortmund of like we can't spend all this money. Like no. They're bargain hunters. That's all they are. They're bargain hunters.
Hey, if that's part of their negotiation strategies, all the power to them. But I mean, in a perfect world, I would love to see him just be sold. Yeah. Maybe they'll come in and make an offer at the tail end, maybe July after the Euros or something like that or whatever. I mean, that probably wouldn't surprise me. But I mean, I would be okay. Not ideal. I'd be okay if they loaned him out again. Hopefully someone comes in and offers him, for that. D, what are your thoughts on this rumor of the kid from Syria, from Bologna, Joshua Sarkisi? I think he came through the Bayern Munich Academy. Is that what I read?
Yeah, he was saying for
23 years old and 11 league goals last year. So I think sounds like he could be a good complement to Højlund. What are your thoughts on him, man?
Well, I think it's another young striker that could come in and be hungry. They can also take some of the pressure off Højlund. But I do believe we talked about it in the last podcast that one of the premises of the Ineos regime was they would ask the manager, what position do you want to focus on in terms of transfer, and we'll give you 3 options, and then you pick your option of those 3, your one you prefer. And they've done this right now. Joshua Zirkzee he came in from Bayern, went to Bologna, played well. He's one of 3. The other 2 that I've seen have been earmarked. Ivan Toney from Brentford is another one. Obviously, he's got his off-field issues.
I think Tony would probably be a guy who would come in and probably be a regular starter, I would say. The other two, I don't know if they would be regular starters right away. Do you? Yeah.
Well, no, yeah, I do think that will be something that would be difficult to try to get Ivan Toney away from Brentford because one, Brentford stuck behind him through the whole gambling situation, and then integrated him. They supported him there, but also he, like you rightly said, he's a starter every week in, week out for Brentford. So some players, here's the thing that we talk about here, I don't want United to do. I don't want United going out and signing players just to give them money, and then players come and think, oh, I can just show up and not have to play.
I can just mail it in.
But I can just pick up a good solid, 200, quarter
200,000. Yeah, exactly, and just
I think the likes of little Joshua from Bologna, and then also another player was the young little forward Jonathan David is another one they've earmarked. So that's 3 that they have.
Yeah, and he's Canadian, so be interesting to see what he can do. I think I read he was actually born in Brooklyn too, so even a little American too, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I put it this way: I don't care what nationality you are, as long as you.
I don't either. If you can kick a ball, I don't give a shit who you are.
Well, no, I don't want to sound like Dana White here, but he came out and said anyone can kick a ball. But my thing is, if you can come in and put on the United jersey and play well and actually give a shit, which is something we haven't seen from some of the players that have signed for United over the last decade. Then the fans will obviously adore you. That's why the fans took to Bruno so easily, because not only has he performed, but he also seems to run himself into the ground. So that's 3 players that they could potentially bring in to support Højlund, which would be great. Another forward, obviously, the mindset is to replace Martial. At this point, Keith, I would sign you to replace Martial because he did absolutely nothing.
Wow, that's saying a lot. Holy God.
Man. He's done absolutely nothing for the club. Like I 100% agree with what Wayne Rooney came out and said, that some players are hiding. Saying they're injured and they're not really injured, they're just hiding. They just don't feel like playing.
Yeah.
I think and Rooney actually specifically called out. They didn't call him out. He specifically pointed out Martial, saying, "Where's he been?" No, he goes, "I'll play with him. I know him. He's a nice guy, but where's he been?" He should be playing week in, week out for United. Like, he had such promise. He started off well, but all of a sudden he's went MIA. And he's one of the guys that I thought was just I think he enjoyed picking up a big fat paycheck, but didn't really feel like playing. I don't think he liked the philosophy and the tactics of the manager, and he just sort of thought, I'll wait this out until I can leave.
It kind of seemed like when he went through all that stuff with his girlfriend or however long ago that was, his career just kind of took a downward trajectory, kind of.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. And he's not even playing anymore. So
And
the mindset is.
I was kind of, I guess, trying to think of I wouldn't say baffled. I guess I maybe surprised. Some of the reception of the United fans is because when I think of Man United greats or just someone that I enjoy, I don't put him anywhere near on my list. I don't know about you.
No, well, I think there were just more. I think it was just more of a respect for I think United fans do this for all players. I can tell you right now, that's one thing that United fans have over a lot of fans around the world, is that they'll turn around and they will give admiration to players, regardless of if you've played unbelievably well. I can tell you right now, Eric Jemba was not a top-notch player, but I guarantee.
Oh no.
I guarantee if he was to walk around, if he was to come to Old Trafford or walk around Manchester, United fans would go up and show. They would want
show
to
their respect.
Exactly, and there was a lot of players that you can do that, and I think that's just what United fans were doing. I think it was more, I think anytime you score against Liverpool, case in point, Diego Forlan did not have a good tenure at United at all.
Forlan. Yep.
But he is well remembered about the time when Jersey G dropped the ball between his legs and he tapped the net out.
What about Federico Makeda, D?
Oh man, that goal against Aston Villa will be for me, because that was one of the catalysts behind United winning the league that year.
Yep.
And I know that, but a lot of people forget he scored the winner the next match too as well.
Yep.
So
God Almighty. Sorry, we're going down memory lanes now.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I'm just saying. So I think that's where Tony Martial's put in. I think he scored a goal against Liverpool in his debut. At the time, no, it was during Van Gaal's tenure there, and I just think that
Yeah.
he played well. Like one season, I think he had more than 20 goals, which
Yeah.
he should be scoring more of that every year. But
So
it is
I
what it
guess
is.
I guess I get not that I don't or I agree with everything that Wayne Rooney said, but I guess for him the fact that there wasn't really a consistent manager, like he was going through a new manager probably every 2-3 plus seasons or whatever. I guess maybe that could have had something to do with it. I don't know. I mean, can you think about how many managers he went?
Van Gaal.
Four managers.
Well, if you count,
Or
like Van Gaal was fired, and then Mourinho
Yeah.
came in,
Man,
and then Mourinho was let go,
Ralph
and then it was
Ralph Rangnick and Ole and
no, yeah, it was Mourinho then Ole,
Ole and Ralph Rangnick, and then
and then it was actually Carrick took over for
oh yeah
Solskjaer at the
yeah
end of the season, and then Carrick still left, and then Ralph came in, and then Ralph just left, and then
Yeah. He's at Austria now, isn't he?
he's the manager. He's the national manager at Austria.
Yeah.
And that was a Carrick's doing well down in the championship.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Martial, I think it was just more of just I think maybe some of the fans were relieved to see him leave at the same time.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. That's
But,
probably
yeah, so
what
that-
it was.
But yeah, so that's the three players we mentioned. That's who's going to be coming in to hopefully replace him to help Hoyland lead the line. And then another player that we talked about that we see reportedly is Paulinho from Fulham. I know Bayern were really pushing for him last year. They thought they had agreed a deal with Fulham, and then it all of a sudden fell through. Like I remember the whole story is that Paulinho was actually, I want to say he was on the way to the airport or was in the airport. And he was
Yeah.
about to leave to go to Bavaria to go get his medical done. And all of a sudden it was like, oh,
Not
never mind,
happening.
sorry.
Yep,
It's not
sorry.
happening, right? So he stayed at Fulham. So he'd be he's one of those players I mentioned that Bruno needs, that United needs, a very mobile player.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
plays that
I
whole
think that
midfield
would
role.
I think that would be a good addition or a
So
good
I'll be-
compliment for Bruno.
Yeah, so I'll be interested to see him play. No, he's obviously played for Fulham for long enough, but I definitely want to see how he plays in general. Like he's been unbelievable for Fulham. Like there's a reason why you have players that are literally going from Fulham to Bayern Munich.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
big jump. But he's on the team. He's on Portugal's Euro team, so we might maybe get to see him play a couple of matches.
Yeah,
and really
get a glimpse
see how-
of yeah.
get a glimpse of him. So yeah, but I think they set, was it 60 million they want for him? They set that target
Yeah,
for
I think
everybody.
that.
for the
Yeah,
transfer?
I think that's what I read. Yeah, about 60 million. I think I believe didn't United offer 30, or no? Or was it Bayern Munich offered 30?
30
right?
with that.
Yeah, and they
turned-
said no. We want at least 60.
Yeah, and then there's rumors that United are going after Lil Neves, the little Portuguese international as well. It's supposed to be like the next Rodri. They put a rumored 51 million euro, but then and Benfica
tag on him.
Benfica turned it down. So there's a couple of players but here's what's going to happen though. It's going to drive every single United fan mad, and this has been the way since Ferguson was at the club. I don't know how many times Wesley Sneijder was linked with the club, but
Yeah.
we're going to see almost every player imaginable being linked with United this summer, and it's
Oh, of course. I like you just said. I remember when I was younger, like middle school, or no, not middle school, because I didn't have really a computer, but like high school. I just remember checking like Sky Sports all the time, and there must have been like a dozen names linked with Man United almost every day or every single day, and probably like 90% of it is all BS. But yeah, it's just like it's all clickbait, man.
No, they do anything. The media will do anything to get attention.
Or it's their agents probably just trying to get the most money for their clients, you know?
Yeah, leaking a story here and there.
Yeah.
trying to put pressure on their client's current club to give them a new contract, saying, "Well, Man United's coming in for him." So
Yeah.
But yeah, so speaking of that, speaking of agents and all that, there's another one I just read about earlier today that good old Matthias de Ligt from Bayern Munich is supposed to be coming to United to replace Rafael Varane.
Oh wow.
So I heard that like he's not had the best of time in Bavaria where Bayern since leaving Juventus. He's not a guaranteed starter. I think a lot of people put him in the same category as Harry Maguire. He's a big fella, not the most mobile. But I don't know. He was supposed to come to United back before he left Ajax to Juventus. There was rumors he was going to Barcelona then. So it would be a good signing. I think he'd be an okay signing. I would like to see he's another player that's very injury prone. So I would like for United to go and look at a centre back that can play regularly. I don't want another chop and change back line the way we had this year. I want to see at least a consistent center back pairing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, basically a same pair that we can rely on week in and week out.
Yeah. Any all successful United teams over the years have always had the same center backs. The outside backs they can change, but the two center backs have always been the same. So you've had back in the treble season, you always had a Ronnie Janssen, Jaap Stam, and then David May used to jump and pop in every once in a while.
Yep.
And then you had then when fast forward, then you had the Ferdinand Vidic pairing that was really did brilliantly, and then after that, it's been chop and change over the years.
Yeah, it hasn't really been a consistent pairing, to be honest with you, at all.
And you can go back all the way back to Ferguson's first real successful team of the pairing of Steve Bruce and Gary Pallister.
Oh yeah.
And then that migrated down. Then you had the Ronnie Janssens coming to the club. You had the Jaap Stams coming into the club. You had the David Mays coming into the club.
Yep.
Yeah, good old. I'm going back in the mid '90s, but good old Henning Berg who came in from Blackburn. They had a lot of players that seem to be very consistent playing week in week out, and I think that's one thing that United need to have now. I think all top teams have at least 4 centre backs.
Oh yeah, they'd have to have some, especially considering the injuries or whatever. Do you have a priority or a position that's a priority to you? Because I don't know if we'll be able to get everything we need this transfer window, but do you want to focus on a striker, a mid? I mean, where do you want, or where would you concentrate your efforts on?
We talked about the previous one. I mentioned the spine, but right now, I would prefer United to either go for a top quality centre back. The forward thing we already talked about, but me personally, I don't think Casemiro's that. I think United need to go out and find a good, solid, energetic, sort of box to box kind of center midfielder, someone who can play in that center defensive midfield role. I would love for United to go out and find their next N'Golo Kante or a Claude Makélélé role, of a role, someone along those lines. Because the one thing that was really, really, really evident this year was the lack of cohesion in United's midfield. The midfield, so they
ran rampant.
Yeah, and they need somebody who can. They have the centre backs now. They have a goalkeeper who can play from the back. They have a centre back in Martinez that can play from the back. They can Harry Maguire technically can play from the back. He's just slow, but they need they need somebody who's in that centre defensive midfield role that can sort of support but also protect Maguire. With that, because there was too many times this past season that the back line was getting completely isolated. So I would say, my personal opinion, is a center defensive midfielder who could really complement and work well with Kobe Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes. Because right now, I don't think Eriksen's not it. Casemiro's already been, we've seen this year. His legs seem to have gone. McTominay's not it. No. I don't think. If anything, McTominay reminds me more of he's a good solid, he's like a Darren Fletcher type role where he plays center midfield.
Yeah. I like him, but he's not. He's not that. The player that we need.
No, I think the United need an anchor in the midfield that can not only string a couple passes here and there, that can keep the ball moving and so forth, but that can not anchor the midfield in terms of defensively, and also be that protective. Almost, I hate to say it, but a sweeper center defensive midfielder, because with Bruno bombing forward and Mainoo being out of position, you need that little discipline, like I said, N'Golo Kante. The reason why France did so well, there's a correlation between why Leicester won the league with Kante in midfield, Chelsea won the Champions League in the league with him in the midfield, and then France won the World Cup with him in the midfield.
Yeah.
That little fella was a
he
cog
was
that literally made everything move. He was definitely the fuel of the engine, and that United need to go out and see if they can find somebody of that caliber. But is it out there right now? I don't know.
I wish I had the answer to that. I don't know either. But I agree with you. They definitely need a player like that, 100%.
Yeah, they can just gel the midfield. In my personal opinion, the midfield got torn apart. It got pulled apart too easily. There was too many. There was like when United decided to try to do set up as counterattack. It was almost like United were playing like a 4-2-4, and then the teams they played against would always play three in the midfield. So those two that were left isolated because you had the wingers pushing high. Bruno was pushing up beside Højlund, and it was leaving Manu and Casemiro or Manu and McTominay isolated. There was a reason why the FA Cup, it was the final was so well, because the fact United packed in that midfield. They really packed in. They made City feel uncomfortable. They made City go out wide. They weren't allowing the gaps. De Bruyne was MIA for that reason. He got substituted out of it. And then the only reason then that City started looking dangerous was because they brought on it was a Doku to play left wing.
Yeah.
And he got to go. So I would love for United to not have to sit and change their entire tactics, but go out and find a player that can do the role of maybe one or two players in that holding midfield role that can. I'm not expecting them to be a Toni Kroos or Luka Modric who can just ping a ball left and right. But I'd love, like as I said before in the last time, Declan Rice is the player I would have went for personally. I think he is that, like, he's mobile, he can score a goal, he can get forward, he can tackle. He is that perfect kind of person that United would have, but naturally went to Arsenal. Because he was in London already playing for West Ham, so it makes sense for him to stay in London. But yeah, that would be if someone asked me, that would be my main priority right now. Would be trying to release Bruno again the way Solskjaer was able to get him, but also without having to jeopardize the structure of United's midfield.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And now that we've been talking about all these different players or whatever, it's probably a good transition to get into the Euros, which is starting up this Friday. I know we want to go through all the groups and pick our winners out of each group and a winner for the tournament. D, let's start off with Group A. Germany, Scotland, Hungary, Switzerland. I think I'm definitely gonna say Germany should win the group, and then maybe Scotland will go through too. Maybe McTominay. Probably not. I mean, maybe it's just wishful thinking for me.
Scotland's been struggling recently.
I get when your top scorer is Scott McTominay, I guess that kind of says a lot, right?
United and Scotland have something in common then, because McTominay was United's top scorer this season for a while before Bruno and Højlund jumped on the scene.
Yeah.
No, I would say Group A. I think Germany will get through, and I believe Switzerland too. Switzerland always seem to be, they always seem
they're always in there.
They always seem to have. They're just well coached. I know Otmar Hitzfeld used to be their manager, and he had little what's his name again? He played for Liverpool, plays out now.
Let's see. I'm pulling up the roster right now. Hang on.
What's his name? I can see it right now. He scored a bicycle kick against United in the preseason match up in Michigan.
Not Rodriguez, Zakaria,
Shaqiri.
Shaqiri, yeah. Yep.
So I think he was captain the last time. But yeah, so Xhaka had a great season. He had a great season for Bayer Leverkusen, so he's showed his worth. And then obviously I can never remember his name. He's a great goalkeeper too.
It is Kobel Sommer and
Sommer. That's it.
Sommer. Yeah, I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce this one guy's name. I'm gonna butcher it.
So Sommer played for Bayern Munich for a while. Whenever good old Neuer hurt himself skiing and broke his leg. But he's a great goalkeeper, makes some unbelievable saves. So they're just a very consistent team in terms of like, especially for big tournaments. They always seem to get through the group, and then they always seem to cause teams problems, and maybe they're in the 16 quarterfinals. But then
and then they just kind of fizzle out. Yeah.
Yeah. Eventually, the quality of another team, the quality of a team like France, Belgium, Germany, Italy, sort of Spain, just they suss them out, and they're able to the one or two players that just have that spark can beat them. So, yeah, I think Germany for me and Switzerland out of Group A.
All right, let's see. Go to Group B. This is a tough one.
It's a group of death. I think
this is a tough one. Yeah, Spain, Croatia, Italy, and Albania. Man, this is gonna be a tough one. Whew. I'll let you lead off this one. What you got?
Yeah, I personally think that oh, sorry, I was making a good old iWatch.
Hi, Siri.
I know. I think Spain, and I'm going to go ahead and go with your good old motherland. I think good old Italia. I think Italy and Spain will get through this one. I don't think it's going to be as straightforward as people think. I think Croatia is going to cause some problems, but I think Croatia aren't the Croatia of what we've seen in the past. I don't think.
Well, I don't think Croatia is the team of the past. I think, and I definitely agree with you. They'll cause issues, but also even like Italy, up until 2 months ago, they didn't even really know who their striker was going to be. Now I know that Scamacca kid has kind of come into form a little bit, but they didn't really know who the hell it was going to be.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Italy and Spain get through. I think each team will leave that group with a loss, but I do think it's going to be one of those like.
Does Albania win a game? That's my question.
I think Albania, I would say they might scrape a draw against one.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe they scrape a draw. Yeah.
Well, they're not.
No. Yeah, what's that?
I said no. Every team in the tournament's not. They're not any walkover, and this is coming from an Irishman. I don't think Ireland's qualify for a tournament since the 2016 Euros. But no, I think Albania. I think Albania can cause some problems, but I just think that again, they might get a draw here and there. But I still think Spain and Italy have too much, and they're going to be able to go ahead and get through the group.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Let's go to Group C. Let's see. We've got Slovenia, Denmark, Serbia, and England. I mean, England should win this group. I think they have some question. I don't think it's a talent issue. I think it's more of a fitness issue because they have a lot of players that have played a lot of games, man.
Oh no, definitely. But I think year,
that's every team though. So I guess
As I say, but and then because if you look at some of the teams that the Borussia Dortmunds and the Real Madrids that just played in the Champions League final, and then you had Man City and United playing FA Cup all within a week of one another. But I just think England's biggest problem has always been, it always will be, is they do have a decent I wouldn't say decent, great talent pool. It's just they don't ever seem to have a manager that can seem to have all those players gel at one time.
Yeah. No, you're right, man.
Because they have Declan Rice, they have Bellingham, they have Foden.
Actually, you know who I think it was? I think it was Rooney. Actually, I think he said his favorite manager for the England team was Sven-Goran Eriksson. I'll have to double check that. I could be wrong. I think it was more just because I think he said when he was coming up as a young kid that he just believed in him, I guess, or whatever, which obviously that you're a young kid, that obviously would mean a lot.
Yeah, as I say, he left an impression on him being young, but also really could be also saying it just because I know Sven's going through some health issues at the moment, so he could be doing it. Be able to but I think England wins this group, and I would put Denmark. In all honesty,
yeah, Denmark's another one of those scrappy teams too. They always seem to cause teams problems too. And honestly, I would love to see it. I would want to see what the hell Højlund can do.
That's exactly my thing. I'm hoping he can go on there. But again, Serbia is another well-drilled team. Slovenia is another well-drilled team. So each team's going to come in with the mindset of England have all the pressure to win their group. And the rest
especially after losing to Iceland the other day. I mean, God almighty.
So yeah, I think that's going to be one that that's going to be a group that England are expected to win, but the other teams are going to be more like we'll see what
I don't
happens.
think it's as like cookie cutter. If you're an England fan, I wouldn't be overly confident if I was an England fan.
Yeah, no, I agree. They will see. We'll see what happens, but I do think England. I do think they win. Do I think they win convincingly? No, I do think they get results.
I mean, going into the tournament, I think as far as like betting odds, like they're right there. I think it's like France and England are like pretty much like the favorites to win the whole tournament. Last I checked.
Yeah. Well, you never know. Like you just never know what's like you said. There's so many different variables that go into the equations.
Yeah. You never know, man. You never know.
So.
All right, Group D. So we got Netherlands, France, Poland, and Austria.
Yeah, I'm
gonna say France definitely. I mean, they're the favorites to win the whole thing. I mean, they should win this group.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna say the Netherlands.
Yeah, no, I think the Netherlands are good through. I think France as well. I think France won the group. I think the Netherlands come second. I think I want to say France and the Netherlands just played a friendly not too long ago, and it was a close match. I think it was a 2-2 ended up.
Yeah, I think you're right. That sounds right.
But also again, like good old Ralph Ragnick, he's at
Austria
now,
yeah.
So he could be playing well. Poland had their chance way back when they had Lewandowski, Blanczykowski, and all those kind of players that were coming through, and then they Szczesny and that. But no, I don't think they have the quality to be able to oust Netherlands and France. And especially the Netherlands. I think they have a point to prove because they've fallen off the.
They've
top tier.
they have, especially the last few tournaments or whatever. So maybe these guys they'll go in with a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think France and Netherlands make it through that group.
All right, Group E, we have Ukraine, Slovakia, Belgium, and Romania. I'm gonna say I would think Belgium would win the group, and I feel like I'm gonna go with just an outlier here because I always feel like there's that one. I'm gonna say Ukraine, D.
I have Belgium, Slovakia going through this group.
I just want it to be different.
Yeah, no, I got you. No, I think Slovakia. I think Slovakia's a good team. They got some.
Yeah.
There's definitely some quality players playing throughout Europe over the last few years, but it's just down to it with Belgium. It's like Belgium's almost like the continental England. They have the players, they just don't seem to have them. They can't.
Yeah,
sell.
they can't. Yeah, they can't put it all. They can't put the final product together.
Yeah. Well, I think that also happened the fact that Martinez was the manager there for a month. So
yeah, which he's at Portugal, I know. I believe right now. All right, so that leads us into Group F. Portugal, Georgia, Turkey, and Czechia. What do we got here? What you leaning with this one, D?
Nah, I would just try have a Portugal winning the group. Obviously, like they're this is one of the best teams Portugal's had for a long time. Like even take Ronaldo out of it.
Yeah. I mean, you honestly think, especially that defense, like they pretty much have like two players at every position, like Pepe, Diego Dalot, Ignacio, Mendes. I mean, my God, man, and the midfield. And then you can start with the midfield. Jesus.
No, you can interswap anybody into that midfield, and then you've got then you've got like Yao Felix and Ronaldo up front, and you have Bernardo Silva that can play in the right wing, and then you've got what's a player plays? I'm drawing a blank right now. I can see he plays for AC Milan.
Oh,
He's a left winger.
Yeah, Jota. No,
Jota plays for Liverpool.
Yeah. Where is it? I'm trying to pull up the roster right now. Of course, my internet is crapping out right now.
But yeah, no, so I think they're gonna make it through. Portugal.
Yeah.
No, I'm actually gonna go an outlier. I think Turkey's gonna make it through as well. I think Turkey.
Okay. All right.
Turkey always seem to have I think a lot of people underestimate Turkey just because a lot of people don't watch the Turkish football league. Like they don't watch
No,
the
I'm
Fenerbahce, the
guilt.
Galatasaray
Yeah,
matches.
I mean, outside of the European matches, I fully admit I don't watch Turkish football.
Yeah. And Czech Republic, they're not as strong as they used to be in the past. And then
Yeah.
Georgia did well to get there, but I think Georgia's going to be very similar to what we talked about with Albania. I think they might be able to scrape a draw against the likes of Turkey or Czech Republic, but I don't think they're going to get much anything. I think they were going to be the minnows, and again, they'll probably enjoy themselves because there's no pressure on them. They can just go.
Yeah, exactly. Go have enjoy the tournament and see what happens, man. It's it's kind of like, Rafael Leao.
Yeah,
That's
That's a guy that's talking about.
Yeah.
AC Milan. He's quality.
Yeah.
He's lightning fast.
Yeah,
and so
he
they'll have
is.
him
Yeah.
they have him as an option as well, along with João Felix, Ronaldo, Bernardo Silva, and then they've got little Neves, Paulinho, Bruno, all in the midfield. Like this is probably one of the better teams they've had.
One of the best. And honestly, I mean, I would, of course, I would not be surprised and would expect France to win, or they're the favorites. But I wouldn't be surprised if this was the year that Portugal decided to do it too. Especially realistically, this is probably it for Ronaldo too.
Yeah, well, hey, man, you never know. Man's a specimen. He'd probably play in the 2026 World Cup as well.
Man,
well, here's my thing about
it. I wouldn't put it past him for trying. I think what I think. I think it would be is he willing to accept not being the main guy?
No.
Yeah, because I could see how that would be an issue.
Yeah, my thing with him is that like if he doesn't already come, because I'm reading all these like stories about like Beckham's trying to get him down to Miami to with Messi, but I think if he was to come to play in the World Cup in America, I think it would be his coming out party for Americans to then, and then it wouldn't surprise me if he signed for the MLS after the World Cup in 2026. He signed
you know what? That's from a business standpoint. I mean, that's brilliant.
It's his audition in the 2026 World Cup. He plays. No, I don't know if he plays well, but at the end of the day, what would he be like? 41 then?
Probably, yeah.
Ibrahimovic did it, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible.
Late 30s, so it is possible, but at the same time, no, is he going to wait that long? Maybe not. But or he could decide to do the opposite, come to MLS in 2025 to try to get a lot of exploitation to play in MLS for preparation for the World Cup for them, and then to play for Portugal in the World Cup.
Yeah. I mean, you never know, man. All right, so we got our group winners. Who do you think's going to win the whole thing?
I know everyone has fun. I have Germany.
You do? Okay.
I think Germany. I think Julian Nagelsmann he's a young manager. Obviously, he didn't have a good time at Bayern Munich, but he was unbelievable at Leipzig, at RB Leipzig. And I just think the amount of talent he has at his disposal right now with the German team, they have that, they recycled the talent coming through. Before they were going through an aging squad.
Yeah, I mean, Germany, man, they're always a powerhouse when it comes to this stuff. Like, I mean, like the Euros from the last one. I mean, nobody would have expected Italy to win, but these are just the type of teams that seem to show up for these tournaments. Yeah.
Yeah, and they also, that's another team. I think Germany's going to have a chip on their shoulder, too, because of how poorly they did in the last major tournament.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and especially, I mean, this is it for Toni Kroos, too, so I would think, he'd want to go out with a bang, right?
Exactly, yeah. This will be his last. I think it's his last, and it'll be Luka Modric's last as well.
Yeah. I love why. Actually, it makes me want to. Not that I wasn't gonna watch it, but I kind of want to watch. Actually, I always like those too, especially Modric.
I think Modric. I think he already did retire. Did he not from international football?
It's okay. All right. Yeah, actually, let's consult the Google.
Well, nah, I could be wrong. I thought he already did. But at the same time, you just never know.
Yeah, he's. Let's see.
Yeah.
Eh.
I think he came out. I don't think he's come out and said
yeah.
yes, but I think I think this is his last major.
That's what it's seeming like, at least.
Yeah, but yeah, I think so as well. But yeah, like they have Germany and then Golden Boot. See, I'm like you. I know you said Bruno.
Because I was approaching it because I figured everyone was probably going to choose Mbappe, Harry Kane, or someone like that. But I was 40-1, especially the form that Bruno's in, and even going into the last month of the season with us, man, I could see it happening.
Oh no, I always think Harry Kane is going to be one of those because of the group England's in.
Oh yeah.
Like no, it's going to be easy. He might be able to get a couple of matches with 2 goals here, 2 goals there.
Yeah. So you're leaning towards Harry Kane?
Well, yeah, I can tell you one thing. I'm not going to put anybody like. I don't think Havertz will do much for Germany. I don't think Olivier Giroud will do much.
No.
I know for a fact Lukaku's not going to do much for Belgium. Well, yeah, but you see, there's also little outliers as well. Like there's Nicholas Füllkrug.
Yeah.
Nicholas Füllkrug that played for that played for Dortmund this year, and he's going to be playing for Germany, and he was playing well for Dortmund. I've seen an article that said him and good old Rudiger got into it in training.
What about the old United player, Memphis Depay?
Depay won't do much for. He won't do much for Holland. Holland's going to be one of those well-structured kind of defensive teams that's going to like grind out 1-0 results, maybe 2-1 kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling Harry Kane's going to get it just because of the group they're in. I think he's going to be able to bang a couple of goals on here and there. I'm very surprised that Jude Bellingham's not up there as a name that could potentially win it just because of how well he did for Real Madrid.
Yeah. That's a solid pick too. So, yeah. There's so many tough choices. So you say Harry Kane's your final answer, or?
I'll put Harry Kane for Golden Boot, and I think it's gonna be one of those tournaments. It's not gonna be a high scoring Golden Boot. What I mean by that, I don't think there's gonna be like double digit goals for people.
Oh
I think like a 6 or 7 total goals is going.
Goals. Yeah, I could see that.
Because I think what's going to hurt Mbappe with France is because they're going to play against the Netherlands. I don't think he'll no.
Mm-hmm.
And it also depends on where Mbappe plays. Is Mbappe going to play left wing or is he going to play up front?
That's.
Didier Deschamps seems to love to play Giroud up front and be a target man and have like the likes of Antoine Griezmann and Mbappe to play off of him, and then he's got Dembele as well that played well for drawing blank here for PSG this year.
Yeah,
Dembele played for PSG. Ironically, he went from Dortmund to Barcelona to PSG, and then he actually scored a few goals against. I think he's on loan from Barcelona. He scored a couple of goals against Barcelona in the Champions League this season.
Yeah,
he knocked them out in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy. All right. So Golden Boot, Harry Kane, and did we do our winners yet? I forgot. I'm drawing a blank.
I had Germany.
You had Germany. That's right. You know what? Man,
my brother JP's gonna love me for that one. He's always picking Germany.
Of course he's gonna love the Germans. You know what? I'm kind of, man. I don't know. I think I might go with Portugal, man. I don't know. I was thinking about it. I mean, maybe this is the year. Just, the talent's there. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna run with Portugal. Final answer. Write it up. I'm writing it on my notepad. D. Germany and Portugal.
Yeah, the reason I think another thing too, people, is that Germany's home advantage as well.
Yeah. I will be curious. because their first match is Friday, obviously. I'm curious how they look in that. I'm sure I would imagine they would have a little bit of jitters, especially after the last tournament and it being in Germany. So I'm curious what they look like Friday.
No. I'm the same way. It just would be interesting to see how they play, what formations they're going to play. Like they'll just see. Julian, as I said, Julian Nagelsmann is a really good manager. So
yeah,
I think he was the cat that got the cream when he went to Bayern. He's young. I think he's my age. He's like, or even younger than me. I think he's like 36, 37.
30, yeah, young guy. Yeah. Well, we're an hour and 15 in. We wanted to. We want to touch briefly, which I just kind of think encapsulates a little bit the United season in a nutshell. Luke Shaw quote, and we don't have to spend a ton of time on this. I thought I'll just read the quote because, I think it kind of sums up the season. He basically said, the quote is, I trained every day before the game, and this was before the Luton match, and the manager asked him if I'm going to play. And he said he's never going to say no, but, he didn't really feel like he was ready. And, so he kind of said, this was the phrase that got me. He said, I feel like it was everyone's fault, my fault, partly the medical staff, partly the manager. I think we would all admit that. And I think that just kind of sums up at least the injury debacle that happened last year. What are your thoughts on that, man?
I think if there was ever a player that should never be the spokesperson for United injury problems, it's fucking Luke Shaw. The man has missed like too many matches over. So who was at fault when he missed?
Well,
he
had
he's like 20 matches a season.
Yeah, he had the leg issue a couple seasons ago. Honestly, I can't even remember. He's had so many, I can't remember them all.
No, I remember he got his ankle/leg broke in the Champions League. And then he came back from that, but I'll give him that one. But in total, though, like he's been, I think they said he's missed like 220 something matches in 10 years at United. So he averages, let's just say, 20 matches a season, and there's 38 matches in the Premier League. So that means if he misses just Premier League matches, he misses half the season. But then give or take, United playing the Europa League next year, the group stages. There's another 6 matches, and then they get into the knockout stages. Let's say another 4 matches after that. So there's 48 matches they play just in the Europe and league, and not including the FA Cup and League Cup. And he missed 20 of them. Like he can't come out and say this. Like, and at the same time, he says, "Oh, well, it's part of the medical staff, part of my." Any player, like, and this is another, like, just back to Whit Rainer, and he says some people were hiding behind injuries, and then now the ones that are coming out that know they didn't play well, he's looking for a scapegoat. He's looking to blame somebody else instead of his players like putting their hands up saying, "Listen, we didn't play well. We absolutely
exactly.
we just didn't." I'm going to start trying to blame somebody else. Nah, at the end of the day, it's also a bit selfish of him to try to like say, "Oh, I'm not going to say no." You should say no, because if you're not 100%, you're not going to be able to play 100%. And I get
if you're not 100%, then you shouldn't be out there at all.
Exactly, but not even that. Like, given his history of injuries, he should know. Like, I don't think I should risk it. Like, you should know.
Well, I seriously wonder if he'll even make it through the entire of the Euros, because it wasn't until a few weeks ago, like Southgate was like, "Dude, you're not even on the team." Which I just think is in a kind of an indictment that obviously they don't have basically a left back on the entire team outside of him, and they're willing to gamble on his health, which kind of selfish from a United standpoint, kind of scares the hell out of me, because will he even be available next season then?
Well, at the same time, like, we can always just put, like, Dallo played well in left back. Like, what's wrong with just putting Dallo left back?
Yeah, that's true.
And then let's hope and pray that.
But then we have to get in the market for a left back again.
No, exactly. But I'm hoping Malacia is back by then. But at the same time, Shaw should just be coming out. He shouldn't be coming out making comments like that. And I get it. But it's also like you rightly said, it's the perfect depiction of the United season. As soon as the certain players are away from the club, they start coming out and using the club as a scapegoat. Now, what happens now? Like, so I read an article today saying Shaw's the only player in the entire Euros wears a green bub or a green penny at training, and the reason why is because they're putting them in a green bub so players know don't tackle them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like almost like the way in NFL and college football, the quarterback.
Yeah.
During...
Until you put the pads on, don't talk to me.
Exactly. So like he's already wearing that. So I'm just when he came up with that, his role, man. He's like, if I was to be somebody like say if I was Harry Maguire, for example, we talked about how great a character he is after coming back, and if he was to come back saying, listen, I know I shouldn't have played when I was injured, but I want to just go ahead and play. But he's not saying that. He's just saying, I'm not going to say no. Instead of saying, listen, I love this club, but I want to just play for him. That's not what he's saying. And then now he's coming out with like excuses like, oh, well, it's the medical team's fault. It's the manager's fault. And I did read the part where he said, well, the manager asked me, can you play? I want you to play. He should have just been straight up honest with him, saying, listen, like I'm not 100% fit yet.
Yeah.
I mean, it's my hamstring. Like Ryan Giggs, historically, I remember he went off to so many different professionals and all that kind of stuff. And of course, everybody who's anti-United say the only reason that his hamstring injuries went away is because he started having to go with his sister-in-law. But overall, like Ryan Giggs used to, like there was a point Ryan Giggs was about to get sold to Inter Milan during his prime at United, but Ferguson he finally was able to figure out, and I think he did I think that's when all the sports medicine started to really evolve, and all these different stretching techniques and different nutrients you take in and all this kind of stuff, and nutrition and everything was going on.
I don't really remember all that really being around until like we were really in high school, if I'm being honest. Like the nutrition and all that, like because all that kind of just blew up in the last 20 plus years.
Exactly, because a lot of players used to after a match used to just go out and like after a match they go out and have a few drinks. Now players they're going in, they're saying physios, they're saying like Roy Keane will laugh at it and he hates it, but they'll go see like massage, getting the legs massaged, like ice baths have become a huge thing now. So there's a lot of those kind of things that's happening. So with him coming out and saying that annoyed me, but at the same time, we'll see what happens when he comes back.
It's like the old pictures of like the not soccer related, like the old the picture from the quarterback from the 60s and the 70s with the Chiefs. Well, I'm drawing a blank on him. I'm sure you know what it's him just sitting on a bench just smoking a pack of Marlboro Reds with his I'm just like, that's how people used to play it. I don't know. That shit just cracks me up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, just think about that. Think about what we just said. Like players back in the day were playing. Some of them were still drunk playing matches, and they didn't have injuries. And then there's Luke Shaw saying, "Well, my hamstring hurt." Like, no, if you're at that level in your career to the point where you're at the top level, you should know your body. Like, you should know what you need to be doing to make sure you don't pick up consistently. When you're a veteran in the league, you shouldn't need a physio or a massage therapist or whatever to tell you you should know that at that point in your career. Yeah, it was almost seemed like he was using United saying they guilt tripped me into playing. Like, man, so United had been guilt tripping you into playing for 10 years and having 20 injuries per season. Nah, man, I don't buy it.
Nope, not a chance.
We'll see what happens with them with the Euros, but I'm not going to hold my breath to see.
Yeah. Well, I'll be surprised if he makes it through the whole tournament. That would be me, but we'll see.
Yep, exactly.
All right, man. Well, we're almost an hour and a half in. Good episode. D, give your social a quick plug before we sign off.
Yeah, we're both on the Big and Small podcast on Instagram, and also I'm on Instagram because Keith put a gun to my head and said I had to do it, or else I wouldn't be on the podcast. So I'm at dc.mcguigan.
And I am at KeithIp86, and go follow us on the Biggie and Smalls, or at Biggie and Smalls on Instagram, and subscribe to us on wherever you get your podcast. Like and subscribe us, and if you like us, feel free to leave us a review. I hear those things are good, for like sponsorships or whatever. If you're a sponsor, I'll take whatever. I mean, if there's a beer company, a whiskey company, a cigar company that wants to send us a box of cigars, I'm open to that But, yeah, man, I enjoyed this one. Look forward to the next one, and we'll, have a couple matches into the Euros to talk about and some of the United players, and even maybe do a little preview for the Copa America the following weeks. And we will see you guys next week.